Welcome to the Profit Talks podcast, hosted by the Orange County Inland Empire SBDC Network, funded in part by the U.S. Small Business Administration and the California Office of the Small Business Advocate. This show is the go-to resource for business owners seeking empowerment, education, and resources to succeed. Join us as we connect you with experts, share the triumphs of fellow entrepreneurs, and reveal the wealth of assistance available to you today to level up your business. So let's go. Let's dive in and learn more. Well, I'm Paul Roberts. I'm your host. Privileged to be your host each and every week for what promises to be some fascinating conversations courtesy of your SBDC right here in the Orange County Inland Empire area. And today, I thought it only appropriate as we kick off the first episode, we brought in the two people that came up with this crazy idea, the two people who run this whole organization. We have Mike Daniel, the network director, and Katrina Smith, the chief operating officer. Welcome, guys. You guys have chosen to kick off a series of conversations about the consultants who work in your network, the clients that you serve, and the partners that you guys run into. Katrina, these are great stories, and we're going to share them each and every week here, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's taken so long because we didn't know how to showcase all of this success. We have a lot of success. We see a lot of clients. We help a lot of clients achieve starting their business, growing their business. And so now we're just venturing into a new way to showcase all of that and hopefully help inspire other people. And to tell those stories. So Mike Daniel, you've been here before. You've given us the background. Give us the 60-second summary, the short wrap-up. What is the OCIE Small Business Development Center? What is that?
Yeah, Paul, the OCIESBDC really is your partner in helping you grow your business, helping you start your business. We really provide access. So access to consulting, access to capital, which every business needs at some point in time, and then access to resources. And I think that's what we really want to make sure, that we are your go-to source as you are looking to do anything in your business. Start with us. We will if we can't do it ourselves, we will find the person that can.
So you guys can help us take an idea to fruition, or to take an already blossoming business and make it bigger here through helping it grow, helping it get financing. Talk about some of the different aspects that you do, Mike, because you don't this isn't like some other centers that are out there where you've got a bunch of retired guys who are just giving advice. You really are there working with people hand in hand, the people who are consultants in your organization. And full disclosure, I'm one of them. We're working people in these areas here. So you're dealing with people who are actively engaged in these fields. Give us some idea of the kind of consultants you engage in your network here.
Yeah. And I think what you'll find, we have 125 consultants in our network. We are all current business owners or business experts that do this every day. And then at the SBDC, most of our consultants are part-time, 5 hours to 20 hours a week,
right,
helping you do exactly what they do every day. So whether it be, coming up with a business plan, whether it be applying for capital, whether it be lease negotiations, putting together a marketing plan, putting together your website or your social media, we do all those things with you, all at no cost.
And that's the amazing thing. Katrina, how can this be at no cost here? Who funds this thing? How does all this get paid for here?
So we have amazing funding partners. We are funded by the U.S. Small Business Administration, and then also the California Office of Small Business Advocate, so the governor's office in California.
Because they want to see small businesses grow. And is it just small businesses? Is it just startups, Mike? Or you handle companies all the way up to pretty large enterprises?
Yeah, small business has a weird definition. It's really any business with less than 500 employees,
right,
which is pretty much everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have resources for everybody, right? And we really try to break you down by your own business and where you're at, where you're looking to grow, and then help you build that, and it's one at a time. And every business is different. Even if you're in the same industry, it's different.
So within California, there are how many of these SBDC centers? 6 or 10 or something?
So there's 5 networks across the state of California and 66 centers.
Okay. And then within the combined OC Inland Empire network, you've got within that, 6 centers?
We have 10 centers.
10 centers, okay. Give us some idea, because you have one right here at UCI, for example, in the Beal Applied Innovation Center, that does what?
So the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is here, and they offer debt capital service. So if you're looking to apply for funding, they will put together a package for you, and then they do the matchmaking for you. So they go out and find you a lender.
Amazing. And all for free. And then I work under the auspice of Roger.
Marketing Center.
The SBDC Marketing Center is
Marketing
probably the
Center,
easiest.
right.
And think of it as a marketing agency.
Yeah.
Right? You can go hire an agency to help you put together a marketing analysis and, really your steps forward, or you can come to the digital, I said the same thing, right? The SBDC Marketing Center,
right.
And they'll do it all with you.
Because so much of marketing is digital today.
Yeah.
So the natural tendency is called the Digital Marketing Center because they help design websites, they help create social media campaigns, they help check your
branding,
SEO.
SEO.
All that kind of stuff. Yeah, all that stuff that small business, even mid-sized or large businesses aren't well set up to do. And obviously help you create content too in some cases to help fill up those channels and come up with a strategy of how to use that. That's where I've been involved in some things. Well, I've said for a long time, you guys have some amazing people working. Give us some idea, Katrina, of some of the consultants within the organization. Give us some stories of some people in the group here.
So we do have 5 consultants lined up through the end of the year to come on this podcast. So we have Carrie, who's our leasing expert. So she's been in the industry for a couple decades now and really understands how to negotiate leases from the landlord perspective and the tenant. So she's going to come on here and talk about the do's and don'ts and are you really ready for a brick and mortar and what that looks like? Right. We have Craig, who's going to talk about accessing debt capital.
Craig's been with you guys forever.
Yes, he has.
He's one of your long-term experts here, and he really has put together large funding opportunities. Well, lots of funding opportunities, but some pretty large ones too along the way.
Yeah, but I mean everything from micro loans to large loans, SBA loans, 7A, 504. And then we also have Carla, who's going to talk about government contracting and procurement and certifications. So what does that look like for small business owners trying to access those type contracts?
How you can get into it.
Absolutely.
That's such a huge potential market. I've toyed with that myself, and I thought, I don't even know where to start. So I'm going to have to listen carefully to that one here.
Yeah.
All right, so you got government contracting, leasing, financing. Give us some other ideas.
And then we're also going to have Lisa, who's going to talk about sales and marketing and really kind of looking at your different revenue streams and if maybe potential other revenue streams are available.
Who do you work with mostly, Mike? Is it startups? Is it large companies? Is it small companies? Is it everybody across the board here?
So we see about 10,000 clients a year. 50% of our clients are looking to start a business. I have this great idea. How do I move it forward? Right. Or they might even be a little further. They may, I'm getting ready to sign this lease. I'm going to open up a brick and mortar. Where do I go?
Right.
To the other 50% that are in business, I would say the average size client that we see is doing probably about $500,000 a year and has somewhere between 1 to 5 employees, and just doesn't either is stuck or has an opportunity to grow and just doesn't know how to fulfill it.
Right, exactly. And you guys always say there's kind of 3 metrics that you're measured on here. One is, did you raise capital for them? 2, did they grow their business in some measurable way? They were at this sales number, now they're at this another sales number. Or did they hire more people? If you can demonstrate any of those 3 things, the SBA keeps writing the checks for this thing, right?
Right, absolutely. And, we, in aggregate, yes. They're looking at how we're overall helping our community and our region with growth of small business. For us, it's one at a time, and it's, can we help you do something, right? And most of the time, it's helping you increase your sales.
Right.
Right? How can we help you increase your sales? And we also want to look at the profitability of your business. To me, that's the ultimate metric that we struggle to measure sometimes is profitability.
And those don't always go hand in hand. There's lots of examples where you keep growing, and the more you grow, the more you lose. You're taking on more debt, more obligations, more leases and everything else. But I'm growing, my bottom line, my overall revenue is growing, but my profit may be shrinking if you don't analyze this. We had somebody else in here a while ago, I think it was with Roger, and they were talking about how poorly most businesses understand their financials. Somebody does them for you, you say thank you, you stick them in a drawer. It isn't really part of your ongoing plan. You're trying to figure out how to build that restaurant, how to build that widget, how to sell it to somebody else. The financial part of it, which should be the first part of the discussion, seems too often to be the last one. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, it's absolutely true. And I think we saw it just kind of come to fruition during COVID when we were helping a lot of cities with their grant programs.
Right.
First thing they required were tax returns and financials. And what we saw were businesses that didn't have any financials, didn't understand, just the basics of where their business is
Successful, ongoing businesses that don't have the basic financial information in place.
Yeah. People doing millions of dollars and, didn't have financials. And how do you understand where your gaps of your business are? How do you understand where the opportunities might be unless you're looking at your numbers?
Yeah. So you guys can help with all these different aspects of this stuff. How long has this SBDC Center been in existence? It seems like a well-kept secret in a certain sense. I'm not sure everybody knows it's out there. What do you think, Katrina?
I think the program itself at the federal level has been funded since the 60s. Cal State Fullerton has had the grant for the Orange, Riverside, and San Bernardino counties since 2003. I've been here for almost a decade, and I know Mike's been here for about 9 years.
Wow.
So, yeah, I mean, we've grown significantly. We started with 3 centers, and now we have 10, seeing 3,000 clients to now 10,000 clients. So I think for us, it's all about growth. Just like we would help our small business clients, is how do we stay innovative, stay top of our trade, and keep helping people.
And what's the average engagement, Katrina? How long do people usually work with a consultant? Is it just for a specific project? I need to raise some money to do this, to open up a building. I need to get over this lease. I need to go to the next step. Or is it an ongoing relationship? Is there a limit to how long people can work with you?
I don't think there's a limit. And I think for the most part, people will come in for a very specific thing. They're coming in for, they want marketing help or they want access to capital. And I think once they work with consultants and they understand the vast variety of expertise that we have within the organization, they usually will start to see other consultants, if they're coming in for marketing and they understand, oh, I may need a loan, or, oh, I am looking to, sign a lease, or I do need to hire people, they'll be introduced to a lot of the other consultants in the organization and kind of their eyes, grow wide with all of the valuable resources that we have available.
So talk about some of the customers and the clients, whatever you call them, the people that you help and serve. You mentioned one to me as we were talking offline here as we got ready to do the show, the next week's guest. Perfect example of somebody came in for one thing and now you've done 2 or 3 things for them, right? Talk about that a little bit here.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the industries that we see just because of where we're at are food, retail, hospitality, do have some tech centers. So they focus on, medical device, ophthalmology, life science companies as well. Those are pretty specific, looking for equity funding. Mm-hmm. But, top industries, personal service. The client next week came to us. They wanted to buy their building. They're opening a commercial kitchen while also having their own catering business. So we help them through a variety of those things, and we help them have their grand opening last month, and now they're going to come in and really kind of talk about everything that they've gone through and hopefully inspire other entrepreneurs as to, how they've made it and what they're looking for in the future and what they're excited for.
What's the state of entrepreneurship these days, Mike? Did it take a hit under COVID? I would think that was a challenging time for many people here. They had to shut down their businesses or restrict or cut back their businesses. At the same time, there was unlimited but unprecedented funding available from the federal, state, local levels to try and support businesses. And I think that had a miraculous effect. We didn't have the great crash many people feared. So what's the state today? We're kind of a couple years into COVID. It's not completely gone, but we seem to be living with it. What's your crystal ball read of the state of the economy and the entrepreneurial part of it here?
Yeah, there's actually more businesses opening now than pre-COVID. And so we're seeing a huge uptick of people realizing that I can start my own business. I think for those businesses that were able to make it out of COVID, a lot of them are seeing success, right? They're seeing ways that they can grow. They've figured out how to create efficiencies during COVID and then how to grow off of that.
Because the general take is that we're moving away from hiring many people. We're trying to find ways to use technology to do things instead of people, which means less jobs and less opportunities. It also means we need less retail spaces or office spaces or physical spaces. We're going to do this stuff virtually. Yet you're saying maybe because of that, people are finding ways to do their own thing. It seems to be kind of a conflict going on there. On the one hand, it would seem like businesses were shrinking and the number of employees are being reduced. At the same time, you're saying there's more opportunity than ever. How do you square that circle here?
Yeah, and I mean, I would say go look at your main streets. I mean, they're growing. You don't see vacancies. I mean, coming out of COVID, I own a couple stores throughout Orange County and Long Beach, and driving down Long Beach down 2nd Street, there were 50 vacancies during the height of COVID.
Right.
They're all taken now.
Yeah.
And they're all mom and pops for the most part, and people are saying, hey, I have an idea. I think people will like it, and they're putting their money where their mouth is, and they're going out and doing it.
Did COVID make people think more, I gotta have a second gig, I gotta have a side gig, I gotta have time to do my own thing? It seems like somehow as people started working at home or working for themselves or maybe got laid off, it suddenly forced a lot of people to think, hey, maybe I could take my own destiny in my own hands here. What do you think, Katrina?
Yeah, I think that's what we saw a lot of, and I think California specifically, they were really behind that. They were really behind people, encouraging them to start their own business. They came out with the California Dream Fund, which helped fund startups at a $5,000 or $10,000 grant level. And so we saw a lot of people kind of, being laid off or downsizing and saying, you know what, I'm going to take my own destiny.
This is my time to
Absolutely.
take my shot at it.
Yeah.
Exactly here. Well, I look forward to hearing the kind of stories. So we're going to talk to consultants like the people you mentioned. You've got some other clients coming in. Give me some other ideas of people that are going to come in over the next couple months here. What kind of stories are we going to hear? Entrepreneurial stories here.
I think some of the clients, it's, how they've started their business and where they're at today. And, I think the goal is for them to, again, help inspire other entrepreneurs and kind of sit down and realize, like, everybody's kind of going through the same thing in entrepreneurship. You have to wear a lot of different hats. You don't always know how to navigate that, but here's people who have done it and they've had support, whether it's from our consultants or our partners. You're also going to hear from some of our partners. So, for example, Member Marketplace, who runs our e-commerce platform, California Shop Small. Sherry's going to talk about what that is, a new avenue for people to get online and sell their products. We also have some lenders coming on and talking about available loan products that are available. Yeah. Not everything needs to be a $500,000 loan. There are microloans available, and kind of what are their buckets.
Because we think of loans as somehow got shut down during all this period of time. First, it was the financial crisis, and that made lending more challenging. They had to reach higher. They were more severe in what they looked for. They were stricter in what they were accepting. Has that loosened up at all, Mike? Or are we lending again here? Is it still a difficult climate?
Capital's expensive. Let me start there. The average rates for a small business loan, we're looking at 9 to 15%.
Wow.
We still have a lot of people that are looking to access capital. There's also something called the State Small Business Credit Initiative that's coming out. The U.S. Treasury launched a $10 billion campaign to try to get funding to those businesses that couldn't get credit elsewhere. Basically meaning that I couldn't walk into my average bank and go ask for a loan.
Right.
They would turn me down. So the U.S. Treasury launched a $10 billion initiative, and California got $1.2 billion of that. And so it's rolling out through two different branches of the government. The state treasurer's office has a portion of that, and then iBank, which is part of the governor's office, has the other tranche of that funding. And so really there's opportunity for people to go try to get funding in a lot of different places. What we always try to do is as we assess a business, we then package it. We try to make sure that people do not go online and get a loan that could fund in 5 days, because that's going to be 70, 80, 90% interest.
Right.
And so people don't understand that.
Yeah,
so we want to make sure that they understand that there's good capital and there's capital that will put you out of business.
You said it all. That's the thing that struck me in the years that I've been associated with you guys. The number of programs that you guys either are tapped into or administer or are aware of. I don't think the general public, much less the general Main Street mom and pop shops, are aware of all these kinds of programs. There's one that you mentioned. You mentioned another one, Katrina, the online marketplace that you guys run here. Talk about that for a second here.
California Shop Small. Everybody knows of Etsy and Shopify, and so we wanted to create our own platform. Having people understand inventory and pricing and what does it mean to sell online can be kind of a daunting task. And so we wanted to provide people an opportunity to go through a 4 to 6 week program and learn what that means, and then help them get on this platform without incurring any fees for the first 6 months. We cover all the fees, and really kind of educate them on what that means to fulfill orders and be online. What kind of pictures do they need? Because it's not just you take a picture with your phone and upload it. It
and
needs
the
to
description, how do you get found?
Absolutely. So people will go through a program and then be put on the platform and then sell the products. And so it's, we're trying to take it statewide right now, but it's for California businesses. And so there's a great search feature where you can search for minority-owned businesses if you want to support Black-owned businesses or women-owned businesses or veterans. You could even search by, I only want to buy from people in Brea, which is where I'm from, so you can get down to that nitty-gritty. And so the hope is, whether it's holiday time or just in general, that can be a platform that people can support specifically California businesses.
That's what intrigues me about this show, because it isn't just a people story about the people who work here or the people that you help. It's a program story. It's a way to understand this giant government, federal, state, local machinery that I don't think most of us really understand what it does. We all say, oh, I hate the government. I don't want anything to do with the government. But there are lots of great programs and lots of ways that the government is assisting people and has assisted people already. What do you think about that, Mike? Do we need to change the narrative on this? That there's some great government programs and people just aren't even aware of what's out there?
Yeah, and people don't know where to go, and sometimes the government struggles to market it the right way.
I think so.
I'll give you a quick for example. There's a hiring subsidy in Orange County, and this covers most counties across the country. If I wanted to hire somebody and pay them at least $21 an hour in Orange County, and I hired them full time, the first 15 weeks would be subsidized at 75%.
What?
Yep.
I've never heard of who administers that program?
And this is through the county of Orange.
Wow.
And, there's programs like this that exist in all facets of business. You just don't know how to tap into it.
Do they go without takers?
They do. And then the money goes back.
Yeah.
And then somebody else takes it, right? Some other county, some other region, some other state.
Because we've got programs out there, and I'm just wondering, what happens if nobody knows that they're there? Nobody signs up, nobody shows up, and then the money gets reallocated somewhere else, it sounds like here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, one of the things we can highlight then is not just the people and the great stories, but the processes, the programs, the opportunities that are available for small businesses. I don't think it's ever been greater. What do you think, Katrina? It seems like not just through your organization, but kind of the general feeling. The whole world is suddenly embracing entrepreneurship in a way it didn't when I was a kid, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. I think, there's a lot of youth entrepreneurship happening as well. I think, college is a great avenue. I would encourage my kids to go to college too, but I think entrepreneurship and starting their own pathway is becoming a lot more of the conversation, and it's really exciting.
Well, here, the studio is located at UCI's Beal Applied Innovation Center, where you guys also have one of your centers located here, your finance center. And they have a Wayfinders program for a way for kids to find their way out of college. Maybe it isn't immediately getting hired by a big company. Maybe it's starting your own thing. And that's a whole different message than I got when I was a kid. What about you, Mike? Did you come from an entrepreneurial background?
So I worked in a family business that I still work in today. Yeah, probably a slightly different path. And, now I'm seeing my kids get into it and, trying to make sure they have, it's the education with the full wraparound of being in the business at the same time.
Exactly. It seemed like there was one world or the other. Either you were in the family business or you were working for some giant company, some big business somewhere else. I grew up in that world. Everybody came out and got a job somewhere else. I'm just curious, are you the second or the third generation?
I'm the second generation, and we're getting ready for the third generation to start taking management roles, which is a little scary.
That is a rarity. We did a piece a while ago about how few businesses make it to the third generation. Why is it so hard to keep a family business alive these days?
Yeah, interesting. Most family businesses that I'm around, it's the third generation that starts to go in their own path. I think sometimes it's...
They didn't found the business.
Right.
They maybe don't have a passion for the business. The founder, it was everything they did. Their kids invested everything into it. But by the third generation, it's a source of income, it's a source of wealth, but it's not necessarily a source of passion or purpose for many of them.
Yeah,
here.
and you said it. To be a small business owner, you have to have the passion.
Right.
It's a 7-day-a-week job.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't go to sleep.
You can't just put it on autopilot and walk away from it. Not most small businesses, not the ones I know of here. Well, fascinating stories. I hope we hear about some family businesses too here, because I don't think there's enough discussion about that topic here and how difficult it is for family businesses to survive past the third or fourth generation. There's a few of them. We had Farmers and Merchant Bank in here the other day, and I think they're now in the fourth generation. They're either the third or taking on the fourth generation. Not many examples of that here in Orange County here. Well, I look forward to when are we going to hear this? This is all every Monday at noon. We're going to stream it live here on OC Talk Radio, so you can tune in and hear it live, and then later it'll be a podcast found everywhere on YouTube and whatnot. I'm hoping this gets a big audience here. Why the title, Katrina? Last question here. Profit Talk. Is that what it all comes down to? It's not just about how much money you make. It's profit talks here.
Cheeky side of it was I won the bet because I came up with the title. No, I think it's, every business, that's their goal, right, is to make a profit. How much profit, it's dependent on every business, but I think our goal is to help you be profitable.
And these are the talks about profitability. These are the talks about the people who've been profitable. These are the talks with the people who can help you be profitable. And these are the talks about the government programs that can help propel you, support you, take you to the next level. There's a lot of support here. I just don't think most people are aware of the kind of support that's out there through your organization and others, right, Mike?
Yeah, absolutely. And you said there's a lot of government entities. We are not the government, right? We are funded by the government. We, work at different host institutions. We work at Cal State Fullerton, Katrina and myself. We have 9 other hosts that all help us run this program throughout our region. And
UC Riverside, UCI, some other places around here.
Absolutely. The Hispanic
Valley.
Chamber of Commerce, Rancho Santiago Community College District, Cal State San Bernardino, the County of Riverside. We have really strong partners, and what we really want to make it is that if you are trying to do something in your business, you're trying to start a business, come see us first, right? We will help you navigate that road, and it's always better with a partner.
And if you have any doubt about what they can do, tune in to the Profit Talks and hear about the people that you can meet. Tune in each and every week to Profit Talks right here on OC Talk Radio. Thank you guys for coming in. I applaud the effort, and I look forward to being part of it here. I think there's going to be pretty cool conversations. What do you think, Katrina?
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Okay.
Thank you.
Katrina wasn't that excited about coming on here today. How did we do? Is it okay?
I'm still absolutely shaking, but it's calmed a little.
It's calmed a little. Well, I'm shaking at the thought of all the conversations we're going to have. Thanks for coming in here again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. As we conclude another episode of the Profit Talks podcast, we hope we've empowered your entrepreneurial spirit. Reach out to us to connect with our experts, and let's take your business to the next level. Keep those dreams alive, keep pushing forward, and stay tuned for more. And if you liked what you heard in today's podcast and you want your business to reach new heights, just contact us at profittalkspodcast.org or call us at 1-800-616-7232. That's 1-800-616-7232. So until next time, keep thriving.